Okay, so now we're ready to adjust the chain. And before we do, not only do we want to check the tension, we want to check the alignment. So let me get a camera shot here so you can see what I'm talking about on the alignment. It's really important that the sprockets run true to each other because it's wheel alignment. You know, a motorcycle is what's called a single track vehicle, so if the wheels are not in line, not on the same track, it's going to handle squirrely. And one way you can tell is by looking at the chain alignment. So if we take the tension out and you look down the top of the chain, you can see how the sprocket here is kicked out and the alignment is not correct. So when we do the chain adjustment, we're also going to try to correct the alignment. So let's see if we can get that pretty close. And you'll see the rear of the wheel move. This part, the sprocket's going to move this way because I'm only pulling it back on one side. Check the tension as we go. Alright, and then we'll have to check the tension, the sprocket straightness again. So for that I'm going to have to move you out of the way so I can get to the back end of the bike. Well, I guess you saw the same thing I did. The alignments were pretty good, so I'm satisfied with that. Now we want to check the tension. And you know, I don't know what the spec is offhand. I've done so many of these. I want to say 1/2 to 3/4 with no weight on the wheel. That's not bad. I'm going to tweak it just, yeah, that's pretty good. But then I'm going to check it in several spots. So I'm going to grab the wheel at 12, move it down to 3, check it again. Same thing, 12 to 3, third spot. And see, there's a lot more play in that one. And then check it one more time. A lot more play in that one too. So I'm going to back it up one. I'm just going to give it a tweak. Now, if the alignment's correct, I got to make the same adjustment on either side. So we're just going to go like an 1/8 here, and an 1/8 on the other side, 1/8 of a turn, that is. Check the tension. Both sides. Okay, shake down the chain one more time. Pretty good, that's still in place. That's on the high side of spec of what I feel good with. That's right there too. Now this is with the tighter. That's a little tighter, but it's still within range. And the key is, I guess I'm going to try to explain this to you. You have 3 pivot points that the chain has to operate in. The rear center of the rear sprocket, center of the front countershaft sprocket. That's the axis, the distance between those 2 points is how much tension you have to have in your chain, right? But the pivot is here at the swing arm. So as this moves up and down, the distance between the sprocket on the back and the center line of the countershaft changes. Think of it as an arc. As this moves up or down, when all 3 of these are in line, that's the longest point, right? So if it moves up or down below that point, that distance gets shorter and that's more slack. So you have to adjust the slack to account for that wheel travel. Okay, that's what it's there for. You know, otherwise we could set it, you know, like to 1/8 of an inch and roll with it and not have a problem. So now we got the chain adjusted. Now it's time for us to lube that thing up. So let me go get some chain lube and we'll take care of that next. Oh, you know what? Let's finish tightening up everything here on the back first. We got the chain adjusted properly. Got friction on the axle. I'm going to tighten up the axle nut, and then I'm just going to secure the lock nuts on both sides, and that'll take care of that. All right, so I'll get that done, get the chain lube, be right back. All right, the brakes are adjusted, the chain adjuster bolt lock nuts are secured, chain tension is correct, axle nut, everything's put back where it's supposed to be. Always a good idea to run one more checklist in your mind to make sure. So now I'm going to lube the chain, and I want to direct the chain lube liberally. right to either side of the roller. Yeah, most of these chains, they have supposed to have seals there, but again, they don't last forever, and you can't be too liberal with your chain. So we're just gonna aim it right in there as I spin the wheel. Get it good and lubed, both sides. Just really get it in there, and I don't know if you can hear the chain, but it sounds good. You know, it's quiet. There's no clinks or anything like that in it. We'll go ahead and get the side plates while we're at it. Again, I don't care if it's oily. That's the oil. The more oil it has on it, the longer it's going to last. All right, so that's got that nice and lubricated, and the only thing that's left is to put the chain guard on, and we're done. So